Do we really need a new solution for technical documentation? Let's take a look at Cadasio next. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about technical documentation before we get into what Cadasio does specifically. This was a space where, you're creating instructions, whether it's assembly instructions, service instructions, those types of things, or maybe web experiences is kind of what it has expanded into now, that has been based on 3D models. So if you have mechanical hardware as a big piece of your product, you really want to take your CAD designs, your 3D models, and reuse them when you start to create instructions and those types of things. So there was a natural kind of progression from one to the other. And there was a lot of activity in this space, 5, maybe 10 years ago, where there were a lot of kind of neat integrations to leverage stuff forward. Maybe have associativity, you change the model and you get updates to the technical documentation. But frankly, there has not been a lot of activity in this space in a while, and it's a shame because there's a lot of new capabilities, especially with the cloud, that have kind of come out more recently. And I think this is where Cadasio has really taken advantage. So Cadasio is a cloud-based technical documentation kind of tool, although it's a little bit more than that. It's also a web experience tool, and we'll kind of talk through that here in a second. But it's cloud-based, very, very easy to use, where a user can get up to speed very easily, and then you can kind of publish out all the assets that you need in lots of different formats. The process with Cadasio really starts with a 3D model that you upload to this cloud application. And really that 3D model can kind of come from almost any CAD application today. They're kind of expanding that over time, have a lot of good breadth. But once you get that into the cloud, a user can build out the assembly instructions 1 through 6. What are the steps? What comes first? What comes next? And so on and so on. And you should look at a demo of this tool yourself and judge for yourself, but it's very easy to use, very easy to get up to speed, and that's one of the big advantages that you have with it. So now that you've kind of built out what the instructions are, or frankly what the experience is, this also applies to a web experience, then you can leverage that in lots of different interesting ways. So one way is to make it available on the web. And I have, this shows web experiences here. You might want to embed this experience like, hey, disassemble this thing and see what it looks like. You can embed that on your website and make it as part of your pre-sales product pitch. But you can also support all sorts of other stuff. Assembly instructions, service instructions, owner's manuals. And not only does it show kind of what the steps are, you can have it animate, right? You can interact with it and spin it and interrogate it. So, this whole thing, these deliverables, I guess, these instructions or experiences, you can deliver them over the web. You can give someone a URL and they can access it that way. The other thing is, using the same type of thing, you can give a URL. You can not only embed it in your website, but you can also give it to the service and maintenance people in the field. They can access it remotely, and you can update that at any time, right? So that they're always looking at kind of this source of the truth, that associativity, that ability to update this experience, this set of instructions can be done very, very easily because it's a cloud native application. You're serving fresh instructions, fresh content from wherever you're at. Now, of course, not everybody wants to do that. There's a lot of people out there that still want images. They want to be able to incorporate that into what will become a PDF and distribute that. And of course, this tool will support that as well. You can export a number of 2D images. You can include those in a document and then publish that and distribute it. All right, so what's the takeaway here? I think it's pretty fascinating that, this represents kind of the evolution of, the older school, associative technical documentation tools that will connect and reuse your 3D models, but it's based on a cloud platform. And what's interesting about that, not only is it accessible anywhere for people to create instructions and experiences, you can serve it anywhere. You can send it out, you can embed it in a website, you can make it accessible at any time through a browser to field and service folks, manufacturing folks, owners with owner's manuals, and that type of thing. And I think, this could make a big difference in terms of upgrading that experience around instructions and experiences. So that's it. It's a really interesting solution, and if it's applicable, check it out. That's it. Take care and talk soon.